and welcome to the second episode of the Restricted Podcast, the podcast where the only thing that's restricted is the neural pathways to my brain at the moment because nothing is working. On today's episode, we're going to be jumping in and talking about rejection and failure, and then we're going to be talking about me, which is something that I love to do. And anyways, it's a bit of a D&M with M. I'm going to just jump in and talk about some of my favorite things so you can get to know me. You're not just like, who's this random bitch just making a podcast? Also, touching on that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the first episode. I've had really great feedback, and obviously that was the first time I've ever produced a episode of a podcast or really anything in my life. The feedback has been really good. I do understand that I talk fast, so I'm going to really chill and mellow out today and try and not talk so fast so that you guys aren't trying to piece together what I've just said. I will slow down, but bear with me. Things will get better. I'm trying to get better at, doing this whole producing, podcasting thing. I've been doing my research and all that sort of stuff. So I do appreciate all of the constructive criticism. But anyways, let's jump straight into the episode. So as always on this podcast, we're going to be recapping the week. This week just passed, actually, we went camping to a friend's farm in Yark, and that was amazing, although it was the coldest and the wettest I've ever camped in before. I've never been so fucking wet and cold in my life when camping. It was heaps of fun. Obviously, I love hanging out with my friends and going camping and stuff. It is one of my favorite things to do. It was just interesting when I got up in the morning. We have a rooftop tent, and I got down in the morning to make my boyfriend Jack a coffee, and I open up the kettle and the water is ice. The water that was left in there from the day before was fucking ice, bro. And I was like, what the hell? And I just reached my hand in there and I was able to pull it out, and I gave it to my mate Alex. I was like, look at this. And he's like, holy shit, it was that cold. I was like, it must have been, because this was not in the freezer. So that was so crazy to me. I did not think that would happen unless we were like, up in the high country or something like that. But that was really interesting. But that's what we did this weekend. What is one thing that I'm grateful for this week? I would say, because we went camping on the weekend, one thing I'm super grateful for is heated blankets. We have a heated blanket in the rooftop tent, and I could not live without it. So I am super grateful for that heated blanket because it saved my life. I was literally shaking, chattering because I was that cold, because it was so windy as well. So thank you to whoever that person was that invented a heated blanket, because it is the best thing when you're going camping. What is one thing that pissed me off this week? Where I park my car, there's this bird that decides to come and sit on my left-hand reverse mirror on the side of my car, and then just proceeds to take a shit. So then there's just shit just all the way down the side of my fucking car, and it's just white and my car's red. So that pisses me the fuck off. And then I have to go out there and hand wash it because I can't be bothered going to the car wash, and I can't be bothered washing it here. So I just go grab some paper towel and some fucking water, and I just have to wipe it off. But it happens all the time. The dog just comes over and just takes a shit on my fucking window and down the side of my car. I don't want my car to look like I don't clean it when I do. So that's one thing that pissed me off, that bloody fucking bird. And I couldn't tell you what type of breed the bird was, but it's black and white, and it's not a magpie, and it's not a crow. Obviously, crows are only black, but I'm just saying, because there'd be people out there be like, it's a crow. It's not a crow. It's black and white, and I don't know if that's a sparrow or what. I don't know, but they're fucking annoying. So there's just shit constantly down the side of my car, and I'm over it. And what is one thing that I learned this week? I learned that moon bows, like moon as in the moon in the sky, and bow as in a rainbow, moon bows are pale white rainbows. They are produced at nighttime by moonlight. Did you know that? How crazy is that? You can literally Google it. They're so gorgeous. But yeah, I didn't even know there was such thing as a moonbow. Everyone knows a rainbow. It's like double rainbow across the sky. What does this mean? If you know that video, you're an OG. Yeah, I did not know moonbows were a thing. So that is pretty cool. You need to look up a picture, Google that shit, boy. It's awesome. And also, did you know that Australia is actually wider than the moon? Not whiter, wider with a D, wider. That's interesting too, how this country is wider than the moon. That is crazy shit, bro. All right. We're jumping into the next segment, and I'm going to be talking about rejection and failure. Now, I have had a lot of rejection and a lot of failure in my life. I have failed at a lot of things. I have embarrassed myself a lot, and it's really shaped me to be the person that I am today. And I'm just going to share like 3 stories that came to mind when I was doing this segment of some things that I've been rejected at, or, you know, that I failed at, or whatever. The first one I'm just going to jump into when I was a bit younger. I used to do singing and dancing for like, I don't know what it was, like 14 years or something like that, or 12, 13, 14 years. I did ballet, I did tap, I did hip hop, I did jazz, I sang, I did contemporary for many years. And it was lots of fun, but there would be, as I got older, we started doing competitions, and competitions was something that I never liked. I hated doing competitions. I hated the mums at the competitions. I hated the girls at the competitions. I hated the fucking judges at the competitions. They all were just so intimidating and so rude that it wasn't the environment for me. And I don't like to compare myself to others, you know, pegged up against one another was not something that really gave me motivation to do better. It just really never has. I'm sort of in my own lane. I do what I want. So anyways, there was this one time where I think I was maybe 12 or 13, something like that. Mum and I drove to like the other side of Melbourne to this hall to do a singing competition. And I sang Kerry Underwood's Before He Cheats, right? And I got, you know, I'm shitting myself like anyone would. You're on stage, you're in front of a bunch of people, you're in front of a bunch of what the fuck? No, in front of a bunch of judges. I'm really nervous. Like, I feel like I'm going to vomit, die, pass out all at the same time. And, you know, my mum's being really great. And she's like, no, you're going to do fine. Just, you know, just breathe. It's all right. It's just a competition. It's just to help, you know, practice and all this sort of shit and whatever. We give him my backing track, and I get up on stage and I start to sing. And I'm like, you know, right now he's probably slow dancing with a bleach blonde tramp, and she's probably getting frisky. You know how that song goes. And I'm singing it. And oh my God, I've forgotten the fucking lyrics. Gone. Vanished. I freeze on stage. Nothing's coming out. And it's not like anyone in the crowd did anything or anything like that. It was literally, my brain was like, see ya. I literally froze, and then I ran off stage. And because I ran off stage, I got disqualified and I wouldn't place. So I ran off stage and I started crying, and mum's obviously side stage, and that's when the judges would be like, you know, am I right? Thank you so much, Lola. You know, you've been disqualified. However, if you'd like to perform again, you can. And so I think a couple of other girls went after me, and obviously they were amazing. And somehow getting the balls to get back up on stage and sing that song from start to finish again. And even though I knew that I wasn't going to place, I still did it. It was one of the times where I walked away from that, you know, couple of hours of going through that really fucking embarrassing moment of failing, where I was sort of just like, well, at least I didn't just run and keep running. No, I realized that, no, I can try again. They're letting me try again. So I'm going to try again because I can do it. And I got back on stage and I smashed it, bruh. A couple of other singing competitions and stuff I did place. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, I'm the best singer in the world. I'm fucking not. Singing is something that is a part of me. And if you're ever around me in real life, I do usually sing a lot. So I am immensely irritating. But that is the first story of failure. Here is the next story. So we were at high school, and I was, how old am I? 25. So I reckon I was maybe 15. So this is a couple of years later. I was singing with another student from the school. She was a bit older than me, but we were mates. And we decided to sing Shake It Off for like a talent show, I'm pretty sure it was. I actually can't even remember what it was for, but I'm pretty sure it was for a talent show. And so, yeah, we were singing like, you know, shake it off, ah, ah, you know, by T Swizzle. We had been practicing and everything was good. And we realized that, I think we got told like later on that our song was too long. And so the night before, I had to go home and chop up the song a little bit so that, it wasn't going as long and we were still able to perform in the talent show. So I chopped it all up, but we'd only practiced it like the next day, which is the day of the talent show. I don't know. It just didn't click in my head that the lyrics were changed because I had to chop it up and all this sort of stuff. Me and this girl get on stage and we're singing away, la, 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 la. And then it comes to the bit where I've chopped it and I've taken like some of the bridge out or something like that. And I just keep singing the next bit, and she's on the ball and she's singing the correct bit and I'm singing the wrong bit in front of the whole school. Mind you, there was like all the hot boys were there at the time. And one of the dudes that I had a crush on at the time as well was like sitting there in the audience. And I'm just like, oh my God, I've just said the wrong lyrics. This is cooked and so fucking embarrassing. Anyways, I quickly got onto where she was singing and copied her, and I was giggling on stage and laughing, and everyone was, I was laughing at myself. I tend to always laugh at myself because then no one else can laugh at me, or they're all laughing with me. If I laugh at myself first, then it sort of buffers anyone else that tries to have a laugh at me because I'm already laughing at myself. So I've already taken that edge off of that. So that's not advice, but that's what I do. And I don't know if it's degrading with myself, but that's what I do. I managed to end up singing the right lyrics by the end of it, and we ended up going off stage, and I did want to jump off the tallest building at the school because that was so embarrassing. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I made this up or not. I remember it. I think I just went back to my locker. I grabbed my school bag. I went into the drama room because we could chill in there because we loved our drama teacher. And I opened the window and I jumped out of the window, walked straight out the front of the school and walked home because I was so embarrassed. And I don't know if anyone has any videos of that I went to school with because I would love to see it. But yeah, that was really embarrassing and a massive failure on me. But I did get through it. And there's probably many other times where I embarrassed myself in front of, my peers. I do it all day, every day, but that one always stuck into my head. And now I cannot listen to that song, Shake It Off. That song is banished from my Spotify. I cannot listen to it without absolutely cringing and wanting to jump back in myself and just implode. I'm really sorry to the girl that I sang with because I fucked us up. Okay, and my last story isn't a singing one, but it's more like putting yourself out there and then someone going, okay. I didn't really have many boyfriends at school or anything like that. I wasn't really into it. I was sort of just trying to figure out who I was. There was two boys that I really liked in my later years. And I'll tell you the story of these two. So one I would talk to all the time. And I feel like if I looked back now at the conversations we were having, I was taking them out of context and I was thinking that there was a lot more there and there probably wasn't. So I think I was making up a lot of shit in my own head. And I apologize to them for that because I must have been so annoying. We hung out a couple of times, but not with each other, like with a bunch of other people due to other circumstances. But anyways, we were chatting all the time. We'd always message Lola. I really liked him and I thought that, he felt the same and whatever. So we had a chat one day and I just said like, I really like you and maybe like, we should try, like we should go out. Like let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like let's do it. And he looked at me and he goes like, oh, you're so nice and everything like that. But I'm trying to focus on school and I just don't have time for a relationship right now. And he said it really nicely, but that was like, straight through the heart, bro, straight through the heart. It shot me and I remember like going home and like talking to my friends and be like, I asked him and now I feel like a fucking idiot and I put myself out there and but now I look back and I think that that's the funniest fucking thing ever. I'm so glad that I did it because otherwise you just in an hour and you're just thinking like, oh, what would they say if I did it or if I didn't? And I just sent it and I was like, YOLO, let's just do this. I'm just I'm gonna ask him because I'm not here to fuck spiders. I want to know if we're going to go out or not. If not, I'm going to hyperfixate on someone else. So, and then there was another bloke that I was talking to and the same thing. We would hang out and all this sort of stuff. And I remember I was over. Actually, I don't want to get into just too many details because I don't want them to come after me or for people to figure out who it was. I was I was somewhere. I was sitting next to him and we were having a nice conversation. He may have been drunk. Maybe. I wasn't because I was still underage at that point. And he had been out with his friends and come back. I sat down next to him and I'd been thinking about this for ages and we had talked and we Snapchatted and all this fucking shit. And I was like, I'm just going to send it again. I'm going to full send it. I remember what happened last time, but I'm going to send it again. And I sat down next to him and I was like, I really like you. And like, I think that we should go out. Basically the exact same speech I gave him. I was like, let's go out. Like, I think that we'd get along really well together and like, this would be really great. And he turned to me. He held my head in his hands, looked at me dead in the eye, and he goes, sometimes you just need to get things off your chest. And I would like someone to tell me what that means because it's been, 7, 8 years, maybe more, maybe 8 years since that happened. And I'm still confused because what does that's not an answer or a response. So sometimes you just need to get things off your chest. Okay, sir. So then after that little remark, I decided to pull myself up off where I was sitting and I skedaddled my booty out of there and I walked home. And I just walked home and I was just like, I'm not sure what just happened just then. And I think I'm going to jump into my bed and I'm going to cry. That happened. So I got rejected twice and that's cringe, but also slay because I fucking did it. And I tend to do things like that. I tend to just in the moment send it. And I wish send it was around when I was younger because that would have been my catchphrase because I just sent it. I always just do it, bro. Like, just do it. That's me. Looking back now, it makes me really grateful for the boyfriend that I have now, Jack. And one day I'll tell the story of how I met Jack. That's for another episode. Jack has been the best thing to ever happen to me. And he is so patient with me and so lovely. And he's shown me true love. And he is just the best. And thinking about him makes me want to cry. And I do talk about him more than I talk about myself. He took a chance with me. He full sent it when he was trying to go after me. So he took a page out of my book before I had even known him. I'm glad that none of those other things worked out because I don't think that I would have met Jack if those relationships or whatever would have happened. I would have been in a completely different headspace and I probably would have been a different girl, if I'm honest. Love you, Jack. Love you long time. And here's the last story that I have. 15 and 9 months here in Australia, I'm pretty sure everywhere you can go for a job. I went for my first job interview at Macca's, right? Everyone was getting their job at Macca's. So I was like, I'm going to get my job at Macca's. Yeah, I'm going to be doing that shit, working at Macca's, getting that cash money, cash, money. And so I went for an interview at Macca's. I chatted myself up and I was like, yeah, just looking at my first casual part-time job. Like, let's do this. And then I came in for a second interview and I was like, oh, mint, must have the job then. Chat a little bit more about myself, more questions, more this, more that. When can you work? La, la, la. When can you start? La, la, la. I'm like, yeah. Then they wanted me in for a third interview. So I went back in for a third interview. What happened after that? Didn't get hired. 3 interviews. Did not get hired at the age of 16 or 17, however old I was. Didn't get the job. I was like, how do I go for 3 interviews at Mackie D's and not get a fucking job? I was so confused and I come home and spoke to mum and I was like, I didn't get the job. Like I went for 3 interviews, why didn't I get the job? Like what did I do wrong? It's a first job. I don't have any credentials. I've just been at high school. So why didn't I get the job? And my mum's, consoling me. She goes, it's all right. Like we'll find you something else. This is what I mean when everything happens for a reason. I did not get the job at Macca's because I then applied for a job at Savers, the recycle superstore, and I got the job there. I had the best team when I started there. It was so much fun. Everyone had the highest of vibes. It was such a great time. And if I'd have worked at Macca's, I wouldn't have had the best time at Savers. Also, who doesn't love op shops? I'm an op shop slut. I think if you cut me open, just op shop clothing would just fucking pour out. Like, that's just what's inside of me. It's just in my blood. Op shopping is in my blood. It's a part of me. It's my culture. I learned how to do a lot of things with that job, and it taught me customer service and how to speak to people properly and, you know, POS systems and closing and opening a shop. I was really sad when I had to leave it because I had decided to start doing hairdressing and I got an apprenticeship. So I had to leave. That was the first job I got, but I failed trying to get a position at Macca's. And I was really wanted to get a job at Macca's, and they were like, M-Dog does not fit the bills, so she's not getting the job. Rejection and failure is a funny thing. And I just want to remind you guys as well that rejection is not failure, and it's not a reflection of you, right? It's not a reflection of your character. I like to think of it as like buffers, right? So when something happens, you fail at something, you bump into that failure, and it sort of molds you slightly. So you learn from that failure so that you don't do it again the next time, or you try not to. Obviously, forgetting lyrics on stage, I've done multiple times. I never learnt from that, and I don't think I ever will. I think my brain just shuts off sometimes and it just says, say you are by yourself. Bye-bye. But yes, I like to think of it as a buffer mold, and it sort of shapes you to be the person that you are as you grow older. It does not define you, you know, rejection or failure. If anything, it helps to create resilience. Sometimes things are just not meant for you, and that's okay. And it's hard to remind yourself that everything happens for a reason, and you know, to just move on and you get over it, and everyone's around you going, no, you be right. But then when you're in bed at night and you're thinking about that thing that you fucked up, or the thing that you failed at, or the thing that you sucked at, the thing that you embarrassed yourself in front of everyone, you're just laying there trying to sleep, and then you think about that one thing and you're just like, I can't believe I did that. And you lay there cringing for like the next hour and a half because you're playing the moment over and over and over and over in your head. And you're like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? Until you somehow fall asleep. It is hard to pull yourself out of that ditch and to say, hey, I did the best that I could at that time. I am not a robot. I am not programmed to do things perfectly all the time. So how can anyone expect that of me? Also, it's for the plot. You need to say that to yourself as well. When things happen, you just go, it's for the plot. Because guess what? If things didn't happen, then you'd have no funny stories to tell people. I would have no funny stories to tell people of how I embarrassed myself. I would have nothing to tell anyone. Because if dumb things don't happen, and if you don't do dumb things, then you've got no dumb things to tell. And life's boring without dumb stuff. Just think of it like that too. It's really, like, I understand that that's hard. But the next time that something happens, just go, it's for the plot. It's for the plot. It happened, and you can't change it. But yes, I think most of us can relate in the fact that we do dwell on things a lot, and we pick them apart and we try and analyze them and figure out, you know, I did this wrong and I did this wrong and I did this wrong, and everyone around us is telling us, oh yeah, you did that wrong, oh that was so embarrassing, oh I'm so embarrassed for you, and it's just like, shut the fuck up, please. It's just a practice, you know. You've got to feel the emotion. You take the criticism from everyone around you. You shift your perspective. You go, oh well, I learned something from this, or I learned something from that situation, or maybe I won't do that again, or, you know, whatever it is. You can't be too hard on yourself about it. You're only human, and we make mistakes. It's human error. And you can't also like close yourself off to new experiences just because you fucked up that one time or 2 times. I will always get up on stage and sing. I will never not do it just because there's probably 10 times where I've forgotten the lyrics on stage and I've left the stage and be disqualified. You have to always try new things and keep trying, because that's how you get really good at stuff too. And like they say all the time, so-and-so, you know, kept trying and trying and trying, and then finally they got it perfect and now they're a millionaire, or they got the product right and now they sell it on the market, or whatever it is. You've got to keep trying, and you should be proud of yourself for putting yourself in that situation in the first place. I mean, trying, like proud of yourself for trying and getting up on stage and doing that thing, or speaking to that person, or asking that person out, or, you know, any of those sort of where you're really putting your heart on your sleeve and you're doing it and you're vulnerable. You should be proud of yourself for doing that stuff, because there's people out there that would rather melt into their couch than to put themselves through an awkward situation like that, or would never catch themselves dead doing any of those things. So the fact that you've done it, I think you should be proud of yourself for, because like I said, not many people would put themselves in that situation. A good example would be, you know, when I said I was going to start this podcast, there was a couple of people that are like, why? Why are you starting a podcast? What have you got to say? What's it going to be about? What do you mean? Why? Why would you start a podcast? In that moment, I do sort of say things with my facial expressions. I've never been really good at hiding how I feel. I'm trying to get better at it because I want to be a little bit more elusive. You know, when things like that happen, they're like, oh, why would you do that? Or what? I don't think that you'd be good at that or whatever. When there's people like that around, immediately I'm just like, okay, so this isn't about you thinking that I can't do it. This is you being jealous of the fact that you know that you couldn't do it. You're projecting the fact that you don't think that you can do this onto me, and then putting that doubt in my head to make me think that I'm not good enough to start something new like a podcast. I know that I'm not a journalist. I know that I'm not a YouTuber. I know I'm not a TikToker. I know that I am a dumb bitch. That's all I know. And that's okay, because guess what? It's the first time doing this. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just giving it a go. And if people like it, people like it. If people don't, they fucking don't. And I'm not going to sit here and go and explain myself to these people that are like, oh, why would you stand a podcast? I'm not going to sit here and explain myself to you. Why would I do that? No, I'm just telling you, this is my podcast. And if you want to listen to it, you listen to it. If you don't want to listen to it, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's not for you. I'm doing this because I wanted to do it. And I think other people would enjoy it because I think I'm funny. I do. If I do this podcast and it doesn't work out, well, then I gave it a red hot crack. You know, I fucking sent it. I got all the shit. I spent $3,000 getting this shit together. And if it doesn't work, then I sell the stuff. I sell the board. I sell the mics. I sell the arms. I sell everything. There's a thing called Facebook Marketplace and eBay. I can remove it from my life. But I'm going to give it the best shot that I can and see if it works. And I don't know where it's going to take me. I'm doing this for fun. You know, bouncing back from failure, rejection, people doubting you, you know, bouncing back from that gets easier with time. And you know what else really helps? Losing any fucks to give. If you just lose them, then you have none to give. And it just makes it easier not to give a shit and give everything a go because YOLO. And I don't care how 2013 or 2014 that is. You only live once. You only get one shot. So you may as well do it. Just do it. You've been thinking about something, do it. Because YOLO is still as true now as it was back then. It's just now that we say send it. YOLO and send it are the same. It's just one's 2024 coded and one's 2013 coded. What did we take away from that segment? Doesn't matter if you get rejected because it makes for a good story. Doesn't matter if you fail because you're going to learn something from it, and also makes a good story. Don't give a fuck about what other people say. If they've got a problem with it, it's actually a reflection on themselves. You only live once, right? YOLO, fucking send it. Maybe you should say that a couple of times this week. Just say YOLO, fucking send it. Maybe that's my tagline. YOLO, fucking send it. I hope that you laughed at a couple of those stories and cringed with me because it is very cringeworthy. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about myself and some of my favorite things, and hopefully you can relate to some of my favorite things. All right. I just spilled Coke all down my fucking jumper. If you're watching. How? So it's a small Coke as well. So I think I've just lost like that much. Spilled all down the front of me. You know what? Before, my mum and dad used to swear at me and tell me I'm a dickhead, as many Australian parents do. And I don't take offense to that. And if you take offense to that, then that's your problem. I actually like when people swear at me. But mum and dad used to call me a pillock. And I'm pretty sure, if we Google here now, what does pillock mean? Mind you, you spell pillock, Pillock. It means a stupid or silly person. I thought pillock means wet fish. Let's go on Urban Dictionary, bruh. Urban Dictionary. A British word in the context meaning you idiot. Also a word used extensively by James May. I love James May. Yeah, James May. Hammond, you pillock. James May. Clarkson, you what? How do you even pronounce that word? Oh, infantile. How did I not get that? Clarkson, you infantile pillock. So that means you young idiot. How funny is that? Get to know M-Dog. I call myself M-Dog. Not a lot of people call me M-Dog. I don't really have a cool nickname, unfortunately. It's just M. They used to call me Zemzy, but I don't really like Zemzy either. Anyways, basic info. Let's jump into my basic info about me. Who's M-Dog? So yes, my name is Emma, and I've got a dog, Mr. Chow. He's right there, sleeping, being a goodest boy. Don't ask me what breed he is. I don't know. I got him from a Chinese family. I have no idea what breed he is. I think he's a mini poodle cross a Chinese crescent. And because he doesn't have a lot of fur and he's got ears that stick up like a Chinese crescent and the tail is like a Chinese crescent and the body shape is sort of similar, but he's got curly hair like a poodle. I've had him for 6 years. He's 7 years old. He was with that family for a year and they named him Chow Bei, which is little white in Chinese. And so I couldn't be yelling Chow Bei at the dog park. So I decided to change it and I thought of Mr. Chow from The Hangover. And he's a little shit, just like Mr. Chow from The Hangover. Mr. Chow comes with me everywhere. He comes to the salon and he sits on the clients when they're getting their hair done. He comes with us camping. He's a great camping dog. You'd think that Chow would be really prissy. And I think 50% of the time he's pretty prissy, but most of the other time he doesn't mind getting his toes wet and getting mud on him and stuff like that. You'd think he'd be super prissy because he's my dog and I'm prissy. I am an Aquarian. I was born in February and I will fist fight anyone if they don't agree that February is the best fucking month of the year. Every other month sucks. February is the best. Okay. Refrain. I retract that statement. November, December, January, Feb, March, April, good months. The rest of them suck ass. I'm sorry if your birthday's in there, but other months, shit. They're too cold. I hate them. February is the best month because it is the shortest month and it is the hottest month. And it's my birthday and there's Valentine's Day and all the cool shit happens in February. So come fight me if you have an issue with that, but February is the best month. And yes, I said I'm an Aquarius and I'm a true Aquarius. I like to be by myself. I am a leader and I don't take shit from no one. So I love shopping, clothes, shoes, bags, makeup, jewelry. I am a materialistic girl. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I used to drink when I was younger, only a little bit, and I realized that it wasn't for me. I don't think my body can process alcohol very well. It just makes me feel sick immediately, and it doesn't matter what type of alcohol it is. I just feel crook as after having alcohol, so I'm always deso driver. I'm always looking after everyone, and I prefer to be in control. I don't like to not be in control, so that's why I don't do alcohol or druggaroonies. No drugs for me, bruv. Yes, I have a boyfriend named Jack. He is amazing. He's the best person I've ever met. He teaches me patience and to be a nice person because I was a very angry girl for many years and wasn't very nice, and I'm a lot nicer now. Jack is the best, and I won't shut up about him like I said before. I love him very much. You guys would know in the last episode, I'm a hairdresser. I've been hairdressing for 7 years. It's a very interesting job, and if you're a hairdresser, you'll understand, and if you're not, you won't. Things I hate, all right? Here's a couple of things that I hate. Apple stickers. Apple stickers. Like the stickers on the apple at Woolies and Coles. Apple stickers make me feel sick. Oh, looking at them. Oh. I remember there was these kids at school and you'd open their locker and they'd have all the like rows and rows and rows and rows of apple stickers and it'd make me feel physically fucking ill. I told some of the girls that I did not like apple stickers and they made me feel gross, and then they would chase me around and stick apple stickers on me. They're the type of friends that I had. Is it true that you can eat apple stickers? If you accidentally ingest a sticker on an apple, don't panic. It will go through your body just fine, just like chewing gum, also made of plastic. What? Chewing gum's made of plastic? Oh my God, I didn't know that. But don't make it a habit of eating fruit stickers just because you can. Apple stickers are safe to eat. See, I thought they were like biodegradable or something. Like they were actually made out of apple or something like that. Okay, I'm talking out of my ass. One thing that I hate as well is ice made from tap water. Like you walk over to the tap and you fill up an ice tray and then you put it in the freezer. Because when you pull that ice out and you put that ice in a water bottle, like 4 hours later, your water is tasting chat. It is tasting like a metal, like a chlorinated pool that hasn't been cleaned or had chlorine in it for a long time. I feel like I'm a connoisseur with water because I don't drink. I drink water. That's all I drink most of the time. I don't drink tea or coffee or energy drinks. I am a water girl. I love juice and iced tea. Seafood. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Fish, just in general. Mm-mm. Get the fuck away from me, yeah? That's a no. Jack loves seafood and I feel really bad because I don't cook it at home. But when we go out, it makes it that a little bit extra special and he always gets fish and stuff when we go out. And we do go out a lot. I don't feel as bad, but I wish I did like seafood because I know that it's really good for you. But I don't like the texture. I don't like the smell. They're like insects of the sea and I don't like insects as it is. So when you submerge them in water and they're extra scary and they have teeth, that's a no for me. Pack your bags and leave. I don't like cherry or almond scented things. Makes me feel physically ill. Oh, hurts my head. Even thinking about it, it's giving me like, you know, when you smell something you don't like and your head just like it compacts within itself and you get like a headache. Almond extract, the smell of almond extract, makes me want to smash my head through drywall. So if you ever give me something cherry scented or almond scented, I will throw it on the floor. Just so you know. I'm going to be jumping into some of my favorite movies and some of my favorite artists and some of my favorite songs, some of my favorite books, and maybe just some of my favorite things in general. Remember, hey, calm down, all right? Remember that these are my favorite things, yeah? They're not yours, and that's okay. And if you don't agree with me, then that's fine too. Guess what? You don't have to agree because guess what? Oh, you're a human. I'm a human. Did you know that we can have differing opinions? Yeah. So let's jump into my favorite movies. Now, these movies I can watch a billion times. Grown Ups 1 and 2. Enough said. What else do you have to say? They are so funny and they never get old. Rock of Ages. I love this movie. Everyone knows that I love this movie. I love the soundtrack. I could listen to the soundtrack all the time. The music in it's mint. The actors were mint. I think that Tom Cruise just played the most hilarious rock star character. He just pushes out his chest like so much. And it's like, dude, why? I don't know. It just makes me laugh, but I love the storyline and I love the music and I love the costumes. And I wish I was a later teenager in the 80s. I reckon it would have been absolutely amazing. I was definitely born in the wrong era, that's for sure. John Wick, all of them. The John Wick movies. Number 2 is my favorite because number 1, the dog dies and it's heartbreaking. Number 2 is my personal favorite. I cannot wait for the next one to come out. The next movie that goes hand in hand with John Wick, because it's made by the same people, is Nobody. And if you have not watched that movie, that has been the only movie that I have walked out of the cinema and been shooketh to my coreth. I was so shook with that movie. And because I walked in not knowing what to expect. I hadn't watched any trailers, nothing. I just saw the vibe of the movie and I was like, I think I like that. I think I like that movie. So I'm going to go watch it. Jack and I walked out and we're just dying. And there's this sequence in the movie where there's the bus scene. And if you haven't watched it, you need to go watch it. The bus scene. You'll never look at straws the same way, brother. You'll never look at straws the same way. And then he takes this fully sick car. I can't remember what car it is. A Dodge Challenger. He's whipping around corners in this car. And there's just Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar playing. And it's like, your love is like a tidal wave spinning over my head. Bow, now, now. And he's whipping this car back. It's just, it's amazing. I don't know. It's hit something in my chest. And I was like, this is one of my new favorite movies ever. Goes without saying, Harry Potter. I only recently got into Harry Potter maybe 4 years ago. I always loved Prisoner of Azkaban. That's my favorite movie. But I didn't want to watch the last two, part 1 and part 2, because I thought they were really scary. And then when I watched them, I was like, why the fuck did I not watch these years ago? Love Harry Potter. Absolutely love Harry Potter. Pirates of the Caribbean. Love them. Dead Man's Chest is my favorite. Hell yeah. Are you joking? Dead Man's Chest? Hilarious. Fucking love Captain Jack Sparrow. If you have not watched Sherlock Holmes with RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., you need to do yourself a favor and do that. I love those movies. And it does like there's the sequences in those movies where he calculates how he's going to bash the shit out of someone. I need more of that. I wish they made like 10 movies. I think there's a third one coming, but then again, you never know what's happening in Hollywood, do you? Some of my favorite books. You've heard me in real life. People are so over me talking about this book, but I don't care. I'm going to talk about it some more. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I can't wait for Onyx Storm coming out. But Fourth Wing and Iron Flame are my favorite books in the world, and I love them, and I cannot wait to read them again. I'm going to read them all again before Onyx Storm comes out. I just never used to be a reader, and that book, those two books just sucked me in, and it really gave me a love for reading, and it keeps me off my phone when I read, and it just puts me into a different realm. And instead of thinking about my life and things I hate about it and stuff like that, I'm thinking about the book, and I'm thinking about the characters in the book and what I would do if I had a fucking dragon, and what I would do if I had powers, you know, when I read ACOTAR, what I would do if I was like a fairy in a realm, you know, what I would do. I'd love to summon like any creature and like they respond to me, and I could like sick them on anyone I wanted, you know, or like create new creatures and you know, be able to fucking winnow anywhere I want, like teleport, and like that's just mint. I love Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, ACOTAR, Throne of Glass. Like they're amazing. The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy, I read those books before the TV show came out, maybe 10 years before the TV show came out. Absolutely loved those books. Unfortunately, I don't know what it's called. What is it called when you get too invested in a character? Parasocial attachment or parasocial relationships. Right. Why do I get invested in fictional characters? It would suggest that people do form parasocial relationships with these characters, and it's probably because they see more of their personality traits reflected in those characters. I don't know if I agree with that, but sure. We'll just agree to disagree, hey? ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. You need to read that series if you haven't. It's amazing. My next read, I'm just finishing off When the Moon Hatched. I've loved that book. And I think I'm going to start Caught This Cruel and Lovely. I think I'm going to start that series next. There's a couple of books in that. So that's my next series. So I'll let you know how I go with that one. All right. So as you can see to the left of me, I don't know if it'll be to the right of you when this goes on a computer, but to the left of me, I've got my record player, my Crosley record player. It's pink and amazing. My boyfriend bought that for me. And then all of my records. And we've got T-Swizzle. I was going to go through my records. Did you want to do that? We can go through my records if you want. Don't twist my arm. I'll tell you what I've got. Okay, so I don't know why that was so difficult, but I managed to grab some. So some of them are still in their plastic because I look after my stuff sometimes. Anyways, I've got Def Leppard, Greatest Hits. So there's 2 records in here. What's my favorite Def Leppard song, you ask? I would have to say Pour Some Sugar on Me. Enough said about that song. This record is Dragon, and I got this record because, well, I think Jack bought it actually because it's got Are You Old Enough? And I love that song. And if you don't know that song, you should go listen to it. A Star Is Born. Amazing movie. I haven't watched it again. I've only watched it once at the movies, and I cried for a week after because it's so sad. But I love the soundtrack, and I will always listen to the soundtrack. Mako Road, bro. Love Mako Road. Unfortunately, they broke up as a band. I went on Reddit and found that out because they hadn't been making music in ages. But really great concert. We actually went and saw them at the ESPY, and they signed our record, which is so cool. My favorite song on this one would be, wait, hold on a second. I've got AC/DC in here as well because I turned it around and it says Hell's Bells, and I was like, they don't make that song. The fuck? I would say my favorite song would be I love Helicopter on this album, and Stranger Days. This album's called, Stranger Days. And then obviously on the AC/DC album, I think, my favorite song is You Shook Me All Night Long on that album. 100%. Then I've got the one that you're looking at, which is Folklore. And my favorite song on Folklore, I think my favorite song on Folklore is Exile. I love that. Look at this beautiful, it's just beautiful. Like, look at her. She's just so stunning. I love T-Swizzle. John Mayer. Oh, God, there's just dust everywhere, bruh. John Mayer, I love this album. I love this album, and this album's called, isn't it called The Search for Everything? I'd say my favorite song on here would be Love on the Weekend. You should listen to that song. It's good. And then obviously Fleetwood Mac Rumours. Now, going back to when I worked at Savers, this album I bought at Savers. My friend Mason told me that it was in the cabinet and he put it aside for me and I bought it. And it's from when it came out in 1977. This is original. And it's got all the fucking original shit in there. Like, this bitch is old. And it's amazing. And what's my favorite song from Rumours, you asked? Dreams. Everyone loves Dreams. Look, all of them are amazing. I love The Chain as well. And I love Go Your Own Way. And I love Songbird. I sang that for a competition, I'm pretty sure. And I love Gold Dust Woman. I love it all. It's just the best album. I love it. Maybe on another episode, we'll go through the rest because there's a lot. Let me just put these back. But yes, some of my favorite artists are those. Like I said in my last podcast, I buy my favorite albums and artists and stuff on vinyl because I love to have them. So yeah, I've got John Mayer, T-Swizzle. I'm asking for the F1 Trillion Long Bed Edition on vinyl for Christmas. That's my next one that I want. I love Sticky Fingers, Eagles, Harry Styles, Matchbox 20. Like they're the ones that come to my head like straight away. One of my favorite things to ask people are like what are some of those songs that you can just continue to listen to time and time again and they don't get old? Like, what are your top 5 favorite songs of all time? And everyone's like, shit, 5. Oh, I don't know if I could pick 5. And I'm like, dude, it's not the end of the world. Like, just pick a couple that come to your mind straight away. So here are mine. Golden by Harry Styles. Anytime it's a sunny day and I'm getting up in the morning, I'll chuck Golden on because it's just good vibes all around. The Way by Matchbox 20. I know Rob Thomas isn't singing this song, but I don't know. I just love this song and it's just something about the music in it. I don't know. Style by Taylor Swift. I will forever have this song up so fucking loud that speakers almost burst, bro. I love that song. I will crank it up so loud in the car. I absolutely love Style by Taylor Swift. Best song ever by One Direction. Ever sad? Put that song on. You're not sad anymore. Why? Because it's One Direction. Why? It's amazing. It's the best. It's the best song ever. Says it itself. When I want to feel myself, Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Mint song, bro. And Money for Nothing by Dire Straits. Love that guitar riff. It is the best guitar riff of all time. It is the best guitar riff of all time. I love it. I'd love to hear what some of your favorite songs are at the moment, or what are your all-time top favorite songs that you could just listen to anytime, anywhere, that pick you up, that give you the feels. Like, what are yours? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to know. Let me know some of your favorite artists, or even some of your favorite books. I'm always down for books. If you've got any amazing recommendations for me, I would love to know because I'm always down to buy new books and I'm always down to learn about new songs and new artists. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and remember to YOLO and fucking send it. Chow says bye. He's being antisocial, but I'll have to say bye for him. He's just one of those children now that can't communicate either. Hey, have you got anything to say? He's like, no, leave me the fuck alone. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great week and I'll see you in the next ep. Bye.
Let's go.